Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. In my last video, I was talking a bit about why I don't think it makes too much sense to be sad about the current price of XRP. There's been a lot of despair and doom and gloom and sadness out there, certainly out on social media, definitely specifically on Twitter. And I kind of made the case of why I think it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to let that affect you. That's just my humble opinion, so you can watch the last video if you want to hear about that. But in this video, I want to give you, if you do want to look at the short term, I've got an analyst that's got a bullish prediction for it, and I thought I'd share it with you for fun. Hopefully lift you up if you're feeling a little bit like I wish XRP's price was higher. So I'll share that with you. But beyond that, I also want to share with you some big picture thoughts in terms of institutional growth, because guys, I got to tell you, the real money that's going to propel this asset class into the stratosphere past the $1 trillion mark in terms of market cap for the asset class and into a multi-trillion-dollar asset class on the road, the real money that's going to get us there, they're just starting to dip their toes in the water here, basically. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that as well. But before we get going here, if you would please delicately tap that like button and go ahead and subscribe. You should do it. Please do it. That's how I validate my self-worth as a human being. I'm kidding. All right, into the content. So here's the tweet from a Twitter account called Trade React, and they retweeted. It looks like a Trading View, or it's just a Trading View link. It looks like, yeah. So anyway, they wrote though XRP daily bull flag, and this is from just a couple hours ago. XRP daily bull flag looking for channel breakout. Hashtag XRP USD chart. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. And again, I'm not a technical analysis guy, and I like to say this. Anytime I'm talking about price, I'm not trying to pretend to be something I'm simply not. I'm a pretty good analytical thinker, and I like to engage within the XRP community and think about the ways in which the crypto asset class could go as a whole, and what developments mean for, well, XRP as the asset itself, the price action, all that type of stuff. That's all fun. I like engaging in that, but as far as price predictions, it's just not my thing, and it's never going to be. But for analysts that actually engage in this and maybe halfway know what they're talking about, I'm happy to share their thoughts on it, because I think that the topic is rather interesting. So I'm always happy to cover it when people have predictions, and then you can let me know what you think. So anyway, that's what I'm doing here. Is there a way to exit? God, ads are Trading View. So I'm not do I want to upgrade? Thank you for ruining my video, Trading View. No, I don't want to pay to have Trading View account or anything like that. That's not what I do here. But anyway, so here's the graphic here for where he thinks that XRP price is going, and he's got a little bit of text down here. So XRP has a daily bull flag. So here's the prediction basically for the short term, and this time period is not too far out. They're looking for this to take place. Looks like roughly over the next, I don't know. What does this look like to you? Next week, two, whatever? I can't tell. It's near term, though. But anyway, they're saying that it's ready for a breakout. They're saying looking for channel trading to touch 50 cents USD and next channel breakout up to 60 cents. Then we see further. And when you're sitting at 40 cents, that sounds like a rather substantial increase there. Of course, it's just, part of the path along the way. I know everybody's waiting for XRP to get back up to the all-time high and then beyond. And all good things in time is what I always say when it comes to stuff like that in life. Just all good things in time. If you believe in the fundamentals, this is not buying or selling advice, because I don't offer that on this channel ever. But if you believe the fundamentals are there, just let that soothe you. Because for me, that's one of the reason, really, that I've invested in the first place. It's the reason I'm into XRP, like the real world utility. So I think as more money comes in, which I'm going to get to in this video, as more money comes in, that's when we're going to start to really see some raucous price action, in my opinion. And in the meantime, let's take a look at this, because we're talking about real-world adoption here within the XRP ecosystem, thanks to Ripple, thanks to Sinfriend. So the tweet that I'm going to cover from Michael B. here was in response to a tweet from Anthony Pompliano. He's very famous within the world of crypto. He's one of the co-founders of Morgan Creek Digital, and by the way, their firm, they were the first firm in the world to have a public pension fund actually invest in cryptocurrency. At least the first public pension fund to publicly announce that, right? And so Pomp tweeted this out. Bitcoin is the realization of NN Taleb's Black Swan theory. It is a rare, unpredictable event that has significant upside potential for those that are prepared and seize the opportunity, while also seeming obvious in hindsight. Simply, Bitcoin is the bet of a generation. And I share Anthony Pompliano's excitement for what the crypto asset class can do. And I think he is tremendously intelligent, tremendously forward-thinking. And given that's the case, it's astonishing to me how close-minded he could be, and that he thinks it would make sense to be a maximalist of any coin. In this case, he's a Bitcoin maximalist. That's what he's just one coin being necessary. Never mind that in the last video I showed there's already 14 different versions of Bitcoin or something stupid like that. Okay, it keeps forking and copies are made and all that stuff. But the truth is that crypto is not a one-size-fit-all. People want, and businesses, they want different things from different cryptocurrencies. So that's enough reason right there to think, okay, maximalism doesn't make any damn sense. It just doesn't. And it's also, in order to believe that Bitcoin's the one and only, you have to completely ignore reality. You have to apply the willing suspension of disbelief. Extra brownie points to anyone who knows who phrased that. The willing suspension of disbelief. Anyway, you have to apply that. And so Michael B. responded here and he wrote, "Hey Pomp, hope you have a happy Saturday. Take a moment and ponder this. Although I suspect you are well aware of XRP's imminent global reach, this is only the beginning on what will become a phenomenon that helps millions of families." And what he tweeted out here was it was a retweet of a Sinfriend tweet. Sinfriend is a remittance company that is utilizing Ripple's XRapid technology, which uses XRP as a bridge currency, moving money around the world. And they're headquartered out of New Jersey. And so here's a tweet from Sinfriend, which is what Michael B. retweeted. And it states, "It is not about the money being sent home. It is about the impact on people's lives. The small amounts of $200 or $300 that each migrant sends home makes up about 60% of the family's household income, and this makes an enormous difference in their lives." And that's a quote from Gilbert F. Hungbo. I'm not sure if it stated who that is. I didn't see it immediately. Maybe I'm blind. But anyway, that's a quote that Sinfriend sent out. And that's why I've always stated with what Ripple's doing, they're genuinely a force for good. And so if you're not acknowledging that, if you're saying that Bitcoin is the only thing that makes sense within the world of crypto, you're just wrong. And also, but it makes me think, how could you suspend your belief in or disbelief in such a way? Like, how could you do that in such a capacity that could allow you to believe that maximalism makes sense? Because specifically here, I think it comes down to just pure ideology. And from Anthony Pompliano, he will regularly tweet out, what's he write? He phrases it like long Bitcoin, short the bankers. I think that's what he's constantly tweeting out. Basically, that's probably verbatim anyway. Yeah, long Bitcoin, short the bankers. And so that clearly shows an anti-bank sentiment. Okay, but banks are forces for good within local communities, and here's evidence that this is a remittance company, fine, but banks can, participate in this as well. We're talking about moving money around the world, saving the poorest people on the planet. Money that's a force for good. So if you're short the bankers, and if you happen to be short remittance companies as well because they're using XRP, then you are you're anti-human. You're anti-poor people, I guess. What is that actually? What does that actually mean? How could you actually have that opinion? It's absurd to me. If you want Bitcoin to take over the world as the one true currency, which again is never going to happen, there's not going to be just one, but even if you want that, couldn't you just be nice enough and real along the way to help the people that can be benefit from blockchain technology right now a different way, even if it's through XRP? Or is XRP so threatening to you that the answer is no, we just can't do that. We just can't. It's too much of a threat to our vision of the world through Bitcoin. Because that should tell you something. If that's how they feel, if they're that scared, that should tell you something about how confident they are in the Bitcoin technology. I think it speaks volumes. And so I don't understand where these people are coming from, but it makes me feel good that, I know that I'm just putting money investing in XRP, so it's not like to pump me up too much. That's not what I'm not doing that at all. But it's something where anybody putting money in XRP, you can see that you're just a small part of it, but you are helping to make it possible. If you're putting money in XRP for this, just as a speculator, you're helping to make it possible for there to be liquidity available for these transactions to occur via Ripple's XRapid technology, and that is cool. And it really is just a bunch of speculators. And so even if you're just here for the money, you're still contributing to an ecosystem that is a net plus for humanity. And that's really what I'm trying to get at there. All right, on to the next piece here, though. This is from Cointelegraph, and I want to... Man, I'm getting all sorts of pop-ups today. Stop it, stupid Cointelegraph. I want to bring this up specifically because of a piece from CoinDesk yesterday that their headline was something to the effects of XRP as the worst gains in 2019 of all top 10 cryptos or something like that. Okay, and I made the point when I covered that the other day that it really depends. You can if you have a narrative, you can make any coin look really great or really bad if you focus on a specific window of price action. And so here's something by Cointelegraph, and it states top crypto markets report losses. Bitcoin hovers around $11,000. Right. And so it goes through, and it's Friday, July 5th, so it's the same day that I reported yesterday about the negative CoinDesk tweet. It was just fun about XRP, really. The top 20 digital currencies by market capitalization are trading in the red zone, with only Chainlink seeing daily gains according to data from Coin360. And so you go through here, and it talks about the price action with all of these. And so if you pick this time window that Cointelegraph decided to focus on, stuff's just down in general. If you decide to have implement a narrative on your website like CoinDesk, you just find a timeline that makes Bitcoin look good and makes XRP look bad, and then you plaster that all over your website. And so I just wanted to use this as an opportunity to point this out. It's just an illustration of what I was talking about yesterday. And just watch for this stuff, because I think that most of the people that were Bitcoin from the beginning, very, very many of them anyway, they do share this down with banks, down with the government type of mentality to whatever degree. And as a result, they're very pro-Bitcoin, and many of them are anti-XRP because they view it incorrectly as a banker's coin. And it is not a banker's coin. It's just it's distributed ledger technology that makes this particular cryptocurrency possible using a consensus mechanism. That's it. And there's nothing banky about that. You can use it for whatever you want. It just happens to be good at moving money. And so Ripple's using it for a specific use case, which can benefit banks, which benefits some of the poorest people on the planet ultimately. So I'm just saying. Next piece up here. This is from CoinDesk. Rising institutional investment setting pace for future crypto growth. And I just want to read a portion of this because it kind of sets the table for what's coming our way. I think a lot of this, it's already starting to happen. You probably saw some maybe towards the tail end of 2018 and beginning of 2019 here. And I think you're going to see more throughout this year. And it's at some point, I don't know when, and I don't make predictions exactly putting a timestamp on stuff, but I believe you're going to see a ton of what I'm about to share with you probably this year, probably 2020 and beyond. And to what degree? Man, if you really want to understand where money's coming from and why XRP and a whole bunch of other cryptos are going to be valued substantially higher than they are today, not financial advice, just what I believe. If you really want to understand why, you got to hear this piece and what I have to say on this, because this is what it's all about. This is where the real money's coming from, all right? And so this piece starts out. Financial institutions have begun to enter crypto with a quickening pace, setting the tone for the remainder of 2019 and 2020. What makes these years different from ones prior is the speed of professionalization taking place in the markets according to our sources. Oliver von Landsberg Sadie, CEO of BCB, a financial services group with the digital asset specialism, drew comparisons on the various bull runs experienced over Bitcoin's life cycle, with the exception given to this year's fundamental growth. And then here's a quote. The 2013 bubble was driven by technocrats and dark web trawlers, and the 2017 rally was led by the whims of speculative retail traders. 2019's growth belongs to financial institutions who are diversifying stale portfolios and finally have the professional machinery to do so. And then the piece continues here. Last month in the UK alone, 9 financial institutions for banking and over-the-counter OTC trading were brought into the fold by BCB. That raised the count to 32, most of whom came on board this year, says Landsberg Sadie. And here's another quote, just a sentence. This is a fundamental shift in client profile compared to last year, which was dominated by crypto projects looking for liquidity. So that's a fundamental change that they're talking about there, folks. And this is what I've been telling you about for some time on this channel. It's the institutional investors are coming, and we keep seeing more and more evidence of this, and this is supremely important. It's absolutely supremely important because it's fascinating. If you look at the last bull run that occurred in the major one occurred really all of 2017, didn't really turn to a bear market until the first part of 2018. That was driven by retail speculators, but pretty much all the institutional money in the world was sitting on the sidelines. And it's a coming. So let me read just a little bit further part of this piece, and then I'll talk a little bit more about it. On the horizon, Indeed, crypto has been experiencing some of the largest levels of institutional growth as seen with Bitcoin futures, open interest, and volume, as well as a number of established banks issuing their own cryptocurrencies on their private blockchains. In addition, these financial institutions are supporting a variety of blockchain projects focused on commodity trade finance and shipping, says Carrie S. Larson, a partner at Perkins Coie Blockchain Technology and Digital Currency Group based in New York. And here's a quote. Exchanges are changing their focus from retail traders to institutional traders, providing such customers better ability to customize the front end of their trading platforms and providing APIs that better suit what institutional traders are used to. Bingo, guys. This is why it makes so much sense to be bullish. Just in my opinion. Again, not financial advice. I'm going to say that till I'm blue in the face because I don't want you to buy or sell, get all excited from anything that I'm saying. That would be really dumb. All right, so don't do that. But look, in terms of institutional adoption, most of the money is on the sidelines right now. It really is. But all it takes is a fraction of a percent of institutional money from a broad array of the whether it's endowment funds or public pension funds or hedge funds, whatever it is. All it takes is just a fraction of a percent or 1 or 2% or whatever. You get that, and suddenly before you know it, as everybody dips their toe in the water, says they understand crypto is here to stay, suddenly you've got an asset class valued in the trillions. And the reason I'm so confident about this is, like I've said multiple times on this channel, cryptocurrency is here to stay, and I'm even more sure of that than I am sure that XRP is here to stay. And I'm mega XRP bull. Like I think XRP is going to be here for decades and decades. I'm even more sure crypto is here, and I'm more sure that the people that are willing to, if you look at a technology bell curve, the early adopters, insofar as they can be early adopters if it's a decade in, but in terms of institutional adopters, and if I could just use it in that way, there are some forward thinking enough that are going to jump in first because they do understand that crypto is here to stay and it's not going anywhere. And then you can imagine which cryptos are going to be on top in terms of, hey, if you're institutional investor, what do you actually want? Well, those with staying power, it's going to become clear that utility matters. How could it not? That's my fundamental premise with all of this. If I'm wrong and utility doesn't matter, then dude, screw me, dude. Like, seriously. But utility does matter, and I think that people are going to see that, and that things are going to play out in a particular way as a result. And that's why, since I see XRP being adopted, I understand that that's going to give institutional investors confidence for some of their holdings to be in XRP. And that's why, as I've said before, I think that the all-time high you saw of XRP at $3.92, that's going to look like a blip on the radar. It's going to be like nothing when this is all said and done. And I don't make price predictions, but I'm confident that it's going to be worth substantially more than that. Not financial advice, just my opinion. And I hold that opinion. Jesus Christ, can I talk today? I hold that opinion pretty closely. I really do, and that's the direction that I see things heading. And so when you see more of this, though, and you see articles like this, and you see major players talking like this, it instills more confidence in me, at least, that what I believe and what I'm sharing with you here, it makes me believe that what I'm thinking here is correct, and this is the direction in which things are unfolding. So I'm always watching for this. And I always reserve the right to change my opinions. That's part of the reason I'm so happy to stay on crypto every day, because first of all, it's just really fun, and I really like, this is a hobby for me, and running this channel, it's a hobby, but it's really fun for me. But it's also important to me that I stay on top of this, because if I start to see sentiment change about either the crypto asset class or the direction things are going with XRP, if I start to believe that, I'm going to be vocally honest about that, even if it's negative. And I don't have negative for you. I really don't. There's no reason to feel upset about stagnant XRP price action over any period of time. There's historical evidence to show that's normal, and I see people building on top of the XRP ledger. I see the direction of all this development being very positive. I'm just not afraid. But yeah, again, of course, if I ever see anything negative, I'm going to let you know. But since I do all this research, again, it seems crystal clear this is what's coming. Institutions are jumping in. All right, last piece I want to cover for you here. This is, and it kind of has to do with the overall adoption of cryptocurrency. This is from CoinDesk. It's titled, Libra isn't a cryptocurrency, it's a glimpse of a new asset class. And guys, when we're talking about new asset class, that's what excites me so much about this. That's why I wanted to share this piece with you, in large part anyway, because It's not every day you get a new asset class. It isn't. And we know that, what is it? Like, what percentage of humans in the world are even invested in this asset class? And given that I feel that there's about 100% certainty this asset class has staying power, how exciting of an opportunity does that represent? And then within that, which winners are they going to be? Because there are going to be some winners, and then you look at what is utility. And this is why it's so freaking cool to me. A brand new asset class in which almost no one's invested, and retailers jumped in before institutions. That is badass, in my opinion. So let me read just a couple parts of this piece for you before I wrap up the video. I'm going to read just the part of the top here and then the bottom. And this is by Noel Aitchison. I love butchering names. It's one of my favorite things to do on this channel. Noel Aitchison. All right, coming from an organization so tied to the question of identity, whether real or not, it is surprising that Facebook's Libra coin seems confused about its own. The organization has chosen to brand Libra a stable global cryptocurrency, whether real or not. It is surprising that Facebook's Libra coin seems confused about its own. I'm sorry, I just reread the same sentence twice. You know what? Apologies there. I'm sorry. Don't tell me you've never done that before. Give me a pass on that one, please, guys. I'm just a human here, all right? Let me continue here. All right, the organization has chosen to brand Libra a stable global cryptocurrency, and the label cryptocurrency has been replicated by media around the world. Yet Libra is not a cryptocurrency. Don't get me wrong, those of us in the sector appreciate the global attention given to the concept since the announcement, but in this case, the definition matters beyond semantics. It will affect eventual use cases and regulatory treatment. It could also transform how investors view both stablecoins and blockchain-based securities going forward. Okay, and so that last bit's a fair point there, but is the coin a cryptocurrency? I guess right now I'm going to say yes, it is a cryptocurrency. The problem is we're playing games with semantics here, and we could agree on the attributes that the Libra coin is purported to possess, and we could agree on those things, and we could disagree on whether it's a currency or cryptocurrency or not. And really, that just comes down to, do we agree on a definition? And so I'm not going to be the one to decide the definition. I haven't seen enough evidence that would make me think this is not a cryptocurrency, and I read this whole article, and it did not make me think that, even though there are good points in here. But it's what's interesting is, in terms of defining what's a cryptocurrency, there are a lot of things that make a cryptocurrency a cryptocurrency. One of them, perhaps one of the most important anyway, is the blockchain technology. And of course, there's other attributes. Is it centralized in terms of a central point of failure, this and that? And so people are going to disagree on which attributes make up what is a genuine cryptocurrency. And so right now, this is distinctly different, to my perspective, so distinctly different compared to other forms of money, assets, that to me it still kind of fits within that asset class. If the world at large decides no, there's criteria set, and if the general public ultimately agrees and there's a definition that's adopted, then I'll change my opinion on that. I'm just not seeing that right now, so I'm not willing to go along with her definition of what this is, because this is just what she's deciding the definition of cryptocurrencies, and that's what humans do. So until this is parsed out further, and I'm not willing to engage in that. But I do think that she's right in terms of adoption, what this could potentially mean. And so I'll read the last little bit here, talking about new packaging, and then expect the unexpected. Let me go down to the unexpected part. I think that's probably what I really wanted to cover when I read through this. Financial innovation did not start when blockchain technology got a new lease of life through connected networks and decentralized consensus. Markets have been furiously evolving since there were markets, often in unexpected ways with unintended consequences. For all its features and faults, Libra represents a significant step forward in this process. Its stated aim of extending financial inclusion and reducing payment friction is one that has consumed entrepreneurial minds for decades. And while this may not be the solution the world is waiting for, it's at least pushing the conversation forward in constructive ways. However, when it comes to technology of any type, few inventions end up being used for their original intent. Libra is unlikely to be any different. In combining elements of distributed ledger technology, economic philosophy, and savvy marketing, the initiative will end up boosting awareness, adoption, and development of cryptocurrencies and security tokens more broadly, just not in the way the designers originally anticipated. So that part I certainly do agree with. And you could think, did Satoshi originally envision blockchain technology helping banks, for example? Maybe he would have been anti that, I don't know. Actually, Satoshi did, there was something, I can't remember exactly how I worded it, but he found the XRP ledger, the technology there, fascinating. He cited why. I don't remember the specifics off the top of my head. But so Satoshi was initially about peer-to-peer cryptocurrency, and now we're talking about just making legacy systems, kind of rebuilding them, but really making them more efficient. Also, it depends on how you kind of view it there, which I think is a positive. So I hope that sounds positive the way I said that, but I think it's a good thing. And then if people want to use cryptocurrencies as genuine money back and forth and cut out additional middlemen in the future, if the world adopts in the way, hey, that's fine by me too. Whatever direction people want to go with the technology, super duper. I'm just saying there's a need right now to fix the messed up plumbing that is the fractured global banking system. So anyway, that's cool stuff and all. Last thing I want to say, and then I'm going to hop off here. I just want to share with you this. This is from XRP Veteran. It's just a lighthearted way to end the video. You guys remember Bob Ross? He paints happy little trees. I love this show. I was like, I was like 3, 4, 5 years old. I'm 36-year-old man right now, so like I was probably like 3, 4, 5 years old. And I remember this being on TV in the background when I was little. And he just do paint. And he's actually really talented. He do these paintings. But so XRP Veteran tweeted this out as a picture of Bob Ross, and look what he's painting. He's painting a upward price action, a chart, and there's the moon. So win moon, win Lambo. Bob Ross knows. He's painting it right there. So that's all I got for you today, though. I'm not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea.